I actually DNF Trans Gran Canaria because of my fueling problems. Not injury, not legs, fueling. I ran out of the energy, I completely crashed, and then I didn't meet my cutoff time. So when I tested TORQ fueling during my 150 miles mountain ultramarathon, where I was running almost 51 hours, I wasn't testing flavors. I was testing survivor level fueling. Because in ultras, if your nutrition fails, your race is over. This wasn't just one run. I used TORQ during my long training runs, also during other ultramarathons, like for example Keswick 50k, you can check the video here, and of course 7 Summit in Londextrud. During that race there were the aid station. At the aid station I could have the crew. So this was my husband and his brother, and they were helping me with preparing the bottles with their performance energy drink, with handing me the gels and the flapjacks. So this is the real world ultra use, where there is the fatigue, sleep deprivation, low appetite, constant fueling pressure. It's not just those short Sunday long run tests. Here's something the most gel reviews never tell you. Fuel that works for 2-3 hours during the long run means absolutely nothing during the ultramarathon. The real test starts at the hour 15, hour 25, hour 40. This is where our stomach is tired, when the appetite drops and the eating becomes a mental task. That's exactly where my fueling failed in Trans Gran Canaria. So digestion and consistency were the number one priority this time. Okay, let's start with the gels. So each gel contains somewhere around 30 grams of carbs, which is the solid amount for the steady endurance fueling without overwhelming your stomach. And for me especially, the standout was the coffee gel. During a 51 hours effort, staying awake is a real challenge, not only physically but also mentally. The coffee gels obviously contain the caffeine, and I liked how they felt in practice. They kept me awake, focused and alerted. And like with most products, it didn't give me that jittering feeling, like your heart is almost like racing and you feel like it's going to pop out from your chest. No, this didn't feel aggressive, it just felt steady. Okay, so in terms of the texture, they are very easy to consume, they are not thick, they are not sticky, and they are not so sweet that it makes you feel sick. And trust me, after 20 plus hours, even consuming a gel can feel like an effort. And also what I like about them, that I could constantly take them with the consistency, however I didn't have any resistance from my stomach, so I didn't feel sick. The bonus is how easy it is to open them, because majority of the gels, they look like this, and it's very difficult to tear this off, especially in the gloves during the winter. However, this one, it's easy to just rip it off and then take it in. And these are vegans, so I really like them. The real challenge at the ultras isn't to find the fueling. The real challenge is to finding the right fuel that your stomach will accept at the hour 30 and beyond. The next one are energy chews, and actually I haven't tested them during that ultramarathon. However, I recently tested them at the National Running Show in UK at Birmingham, and I really like them. Especially I like their texture, that they were so soft, that were easy to chew, and they weren't so sticky. And you may feel like, okay, it's just a minor detail. However, when you are running for so many hours, you don't want to have another obstacles to overcome, like the sticky fingers, sticky mouth, or like the product that is really hard to chew, because you're just wasting the energy. And in terms of the nutrition, per 36 gram servings, they contain somewhere around 119 calories and somewhere around 29 grams of carbs, which is again a solid options between gels and the solid food. Next one on our list, it's the Flapjack, and Black Forest is my favorite flavor. And what I like about this one, that it's very soft. So as I mentioned before, the softness during the ultramarathon really matters. because I'm pretty sure that you are in the ultra, you had the hard bar and you felt like chewing becomes almost impossible when you are tired and dehydrated. However, with this one, with the softness, they go like a treat even when I was deep in the race. In terms of the nutrition, this flapjack is 65 grams and it contains 260 calories and 40 grams of carbs, so this is a proper source of energy, not just a snack. And it's good also for the mental, because when you consume the gels all the time, you might be a little bit overwhelmed. But this one, you break away from the gels and you have the flapjacks or the juice, and then you go back to the gels. And as I mentioned before, no issues with the stomach, so yeah, these were really good. Now let's talk about the performance energy drink, and this is what my crew was preparing mainly for me at the aid station. At the recommended serving mix into 500 milliliters of water, you get 120 calories, 30 grams of carbs, and of course the electrolytes that you need during the ultras. This fits very well into the ultramarathon fueling strategy, especially when you're trying to maintain a steady intake on the carbs through the liquids and the solids. My favorite one is the pink grapefruit flavor, and it's very subtle and not very sweet, so you don't get that sick feeling after hours of drinking it. And this one is very crucial during the ultramarathon, because if the drink is too sweet, then you start drinking less and less, and this will have a big impact on your hydration and the energy. However, with this one, yeah, I could constantly just keep drinking it for hours. What I appreciated the most, it was how simple the whole system was during that race environment. So my crew could prepare the bottles, hand me the gels and rotate the flapjacks. And this is crucial during the 100 miles plus races, because the decision making is limited because you are fatigued, you're tired because of lack of the sleep. Having different fueling types like liquids, gels, soft food make it easier to keep eating without feeling sick of the same taste. Is TORQ worth for ultramarathon? From my experience of using it for 51 hours in 150 miles mountain ultramarathons, absolutely yes, especially if the digestion and the steady energy is your priority. The biggest advantages for me were the soft, ultra-friendly flapjack, the easy digestion over the long hours, the coffee gels that kept me awake for hours without the jitters, and the performance drink that wasn't overly sweet. After a DNF caused by the failure of the fueling, finding the fueling system that my stomach can actually tolerate consistently for hours was a big factor. Because of that experience, I'm planning to take the TORQ nutrition into my future ultramarathons, like for example Ultramarathon in Snowdonia, 100 miles, or Lavaredo 120k. If you are training for the ultras or the long trail races, test your fueling early, not at the race. And I would strongly recommend you give it a try to the TORQ nutrition. And if you use my link, you will get 10% off. So the link is in the description below. And of course, subscribe, like this video and hit the notification bell so you will get the honest opinion of the gear, of the races, of the fueling reviews that is tested during the long runs, not just the short runs. And I'm really curious, what fueling worked for you on your ultramarathons? Comment below. But right now, peace out.